Hello, everyone. Oh, let me raise you up. Hello, everybody. I'm back in the studio, and I was going to add some more stitching, but I figured, oh, let's show people what I'm doing. Bye. It's like I'm sinking. Oh my gosh, the screen is so high. I love this. Okay, let me click go live over here. They missed the whole beginning where I went high. Okay, so yesterday we were stitching out these beautiful whole cloths. We'll get there. We'll get back to that. And I was talking about adding more. I want to invite a guest, and that guest is going to be myself. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to text myself in the window that I just closed. And my name is Adam. So we were talking about adding more. I want to paste my link. More stitching and what I was going to do and what I was going to add and this and that. And my glasses are dirty, and that's going to drive me nuts. Do I have a cleaning cloth? I usually have cleaning cloths everywhere. There's none in my drawer. There are none in my shelves that I can't see in because my thing is too tall. So I've decided that I am going to add some So Sassy. If you don't know about So Sassy, it is exactly what it's called. It is a 12 weight polyester thread. This is Mickey's favorite. Nice and thick. So I am going to use this on the long arm. It should work fine. We're going to change a few settings and stuff. I'm going to put the Bernina to the test because I'm going to see if it will auto tension with the So Sassy. And we're going to see if my internet keeps up because it was doing something weird a second ago. So I'm in my studio, so it's not like the normal one. But I am going to stitch with So Sassy. We're going to go to the quilt top and we're going to decide what color we want to use. And I'm going to talk about why and where we're going to do it. Because I think I'm going to change things up again a little bit. Dangling has been back. She's still deciding, but I shall go. Sorry, that was an email that I was asking questions. But I had some things come up. Oh my gosh. See, people, I get emails and then I read them. I forget what I'm doing. I need to log into this. Hi, Kelly Geminomi. I just call Kelly Genomi. I had to ask her a question. So people were asking about my side clamps yesterday. Allow. But we're going to mute this one. And we're going to turn my phone down. And I'm going to enter this. No, I want to go to the back camera. Back camera and exit and enter studio. But you won't see that. Hi, everyone. We'll put this here, I think. Oh, it's locked. I was telling Ben that I was stitching. I'm like, sometimes it's not easy to do. I need my little screwdriver. I always forget where my screwdriver is, but it's in my drawer. Well, it should be in my drawer. I just used it. This is what I do. I don't put things up. That's not it. That's not it. Did I put it over in my side thing? I put it over in my side thing. That's not where it goes. My needle screwdriver, because we're going to change needles. So I had a few messages last night because people saw these. And these are actually, this is from Classy Creations. They didn't put a T in here. Look at this. I'm going to have to send them a picture. This is from Classy Creations. This is what they call their quilt locks. So I am not using the quilt locks right now. I'm using my So Tight side leaders. Excuse me. I'll move the machine over out of the way. Because, let me roll you over in my little command station. I think this is a better view than, hi, stomach. So I'm using my So Tight side leaders. That's what these things are. I'll take this one off and not bang things around. So it has a little So Tight in here. This is a piece of fabric. So these are the So Tight heavy duties. The So Tight HDs are in this. The heavy duties go through the bigger, the fatter battings like if I'm using 2 layers, an 80-20 in a wool or poly puff or whatever, it goes through those better. But because my quilt is here and I have like 1.5 inches before the edge of my fabric, I need something that I can get really close to this and that's going to be easy to like pop on and off. As if you watched yesterday's live, I was using rulers, and when my rulers were here, I had to take this off so I wouldn't hit it. I always use these. I do a lot of ruler work, but I always use them because with them on, if I bring my machine over, the ruler base slides under it because my ruler base is on. So it's no longer hitting these, right? So I just so happen, because I have the quilt locks, I have these bars, so I could raise it up. Because these clamps I find are pretty heavy. So those help. But the quilt lock, so when I'm doing edge to edge and stuff, or if I have a lot of backing, this is the quilt lock. So essentially it is a bar. This bar goes on top. Let's take these off. We're having a little detour to the video. This is the top, and then this is the bottom, and that is also a magnet. So unlike the regular bungees, this goes here on the underside. This goes on the top side, and you'll see there why I couldn't use them for this project. But even with multiple layers of batting, I keep getting hooked up. There we go. Even with multiple layers of batting, that's locked on good. Now when I pull this, don't pull it like that. Okay, let me do this again, and let me get it really locked. There we are. There we are. I was on. When this pulls, it holds everything nice and tight, and then you get this bar, which goes under, and it holds. But instead of pulling from 2 points like my regular ones do, it pulls everything nice and flush. And I just put the bungees onto here. So this piece clamps onto this, and I can change the length of this. So if I'm doing like edge to edge things and such, I use the quilt locks. I have extra room, but I can't use a quilt lock when I have to be right next to it. There is another piece that I don't use. So there's this thin piece for if you're using rulers and stuff. And if you're not, like, there's another bar. And like you can hear, and they are locked. Like I can't pull these apart. I can twist them, I think. And get them apart. But like, so if you are using thicker batting, something like this project, I can put that here. And this is going to lock better than the little bar, but the little bar lets me use rulers. So there's a pro and con. So these are quilt locks. These are from Classy Creations. I like them. That's why they're sitting right here. I just couldn't use them with this project. But I have these bars, and I can still use these bars to help lift everything up. So that's the quilt locks. Again, somebody, or a few of you actually messaged me and asked about them. These are from Classy Creations, CLASSI Creations. And I do have a discount code with them. So if you shop at Classy Creations, let me go, I'll pop there. Classy Creations. I think, let me see if I can just get to their quilt locks. I think that's what they're called. They name things weird. So if you like the So Tight ones, hi Heather, I'm talking about quilt locks. If you like the So Tight ones, at sotights.com, you can use ASF10 and save 20%. No, you can't. Save 15% using code ASF10. Until next month, that discount's going to go down to 10%. Or at Classy Creations, you can use ASF10 and save, I think, 10%, 15%, something around there. It's a percentage. And if it doesn't save a percentage, call them and say, Adam said I get a discount. I like the girls at both of them. Actually, Eric heard. Wait a moment. Actually, both companies are a set of sisters. That's funny. I'm turning my air conditioner down. It's not even hot here. It's 89. So that is the quilt locks thing. I don't know if there's anything else. I think that came through. The other thing, I have my long arm station. Heather, what is the long arm station called? Long long arm station. They have so it's not called the long arm station, and it's not the Omni table anymore. They have like, I call it the long arm command station, but that is not what it's called. But that's what the computer is currently sitting on. Shop all. No, where are the tables? Bag makings, templates, sewing tables and accessories. Sewing and quilting tables. Oh, it's not on the website. We have a table accessories. I don't know. You'll have to call them. But this is the long arm command, my command station. So basically, it's a table on wheels that goes up and down and holds all my crap, including the thing. The one that goes over and the one that holds the one that goes over. No, the one that holds the Lore Star. If anyone knows, it would be Heather. So those are my little things. I got to clean my glasses. They are just so dirty. One moment, please. I forgot to say 1 moment, please. Okay, so we're going to go quilt. And so here's some things that I'm doing. So yesterday, we quilted this together. I did this all rulers using the Amanda Murphy multi-tool by Good Measure. It's a Good Measure multi-tool. This pattern's written for this ruler. And it came out great, and I liked it. Great. But I told you all I wanted to add some more stitching, and I wanted to add stitching in a way to kind of change the look. It's not the Omni anymore, Heather, because I searched Omni and it didn't come up. So I was telling you kind of ideas of what I wanted to do and stuff. So I'm going to be using this ruler today, but I'm also going to be using one from a different set. So this is the Every Circles set. So it's a set of 5 circles. I need the 3-inch circle because I'm changing this up a little bit. So I just happen to have this. This is the Every Circle set of 5 long arm quilting templates. I'm going to be using the 3-inch. That's the 4-inch. The 3-inch, the little baby one, for some of my stitching today because I want them offset. And you can't really offset a 4-inch with a 3-inch. Let's see, there you go. I am going to adjust screen number 2. I'm like, I can't see it. Oh, there we go. And we'll see how much I can get. Ooh. We'll see how much I can stitch without getting in the way. That's the thing. Okay, so I'm going to pop this into the thing, add to stage, and we're going to make this a single, but I want to hide. Oh, I think it clicked this and I hit solo. There we go. All right, so let's talk. Let's thread it first. Sorry, we're gonna keep this. Or we're gonna remove that one. We're gonna thread it. So we are using. Oh, you had to. We're gonna watch both screens. Is that a good view though? It looks a little blurry. So first thing, I have to decide what color to do. So I have green and yellow. Let me go in and turn my lights off. Machine lights. You can kind of see it a little better. That's not green and yellow. That's orange and yellow. So I have orange and yellow. I'm looking. I don't know which one. You guys can definitely see the yellow better. They both look really good here. I think we're going to go with the yellow. It stands out more. I like things that stand out. But these are both, like I said, these are so sassy. The orange is 3307 and the yellow is 3304. Um, no, we're going to go with orange. I actually like the orange better. It's going to be harder for you to see, but that's okay. It's sometimes it's not all about you. All right, so now I'm going to thread it. If I look at this thread as my machine runs towards me, if I look at this thread, this is a crosswound thread. We know it's a crosswound thread because it has the design of the threads kind of winding back and forth like this. So because it's crosswound, we're just going to put it on a regular thread spool holder, just like normal. Anytime you can see I have 4 holders up here. Anytime we put this up here, or anytime we use a thread, we always go directly up first. So if I'm using a thread from the back, I'm going to go up to the back first. If I'm using the thread from here, I'm going to go up here first. If I'm using here, I'm never going to start here and come diagonal for my first thing. We want the thread to go directly up. So even with this thicker thread, I'm going to go up and over, just the normal Bernina loading. I'm going to come down the side, and I'm going to thread this just like I would thread any other thread. Around, through our one eye hole, down and through. Now, I'm not going to try to use my needle threader for this because the needle threader probably isn't going to work. This is a thick thread, so I'm just going to use my eye. I got to turn my lights back on. Let me get myself a nice sharp point. And if I have to, I can always make a lasso. Where's my scissors? If I didn't, they were just sitting here. There's my water. I did change my bobbin color. I can't believe I lost my scissors. While I look for my scissors, there is an every circle whole cloth quilt too. I will make that at some point. Oh, there they are. That's where I saw them. They were on the shelf where they should be. Let's see. Let me change this and now thread my needle. Go through. And I might have to make a thread lasso. It is a thin thread or a thick thread. So if you have to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread a lasso of a different thinner thread, like a 40 weight. And then I can put this in the lasso. I wonder if the needle threader might work. But I am using 100 needle. There we go. Thread through the lasso. If I can do that. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is the universe saying don't stitch today. What is going on? And pull. Popped and it went through. So I have my thread in. I have my 72 S foot, so I can just go through the little S, which is the slit. And if you had a holder on the side of your head, yeah, but I don't want to put stickers on my machine. Do you have to change your needle size to get a bigger eye? Yes, that's what changes when you change your needle size. So I'm using. Oh, that's why it went thread. I'm not using. I didn't put the right needle in yet. I'm gonna put in a jeans 110. I was like, that should thread easier than this, but that's because it's currently at a 90. All right, so I'm glad I had them sitting out here. That's so funny. Let's see if this one threads any easier. The needles get bigger and the eyes get bigger. Now, does that mean it's going to go through? No. Ooh, that's a nice sharp point. This is going to work. Oh, it was doing it. Look at that. Amazing. Put your needle someplace sharp. I can't believe I forgot to change the needle. And the reason I didn't change the needles because I wanted to make sure you all saw the needles. So these are the needles I'm using. I'm gonna go make the. Oh, you can't see. I just did that. Okay, let me unsolo and solo this one, and we're gonna change speakers. And let me know if you can hear me. I can hear myself, so I'm gonna say yes. So these are the needles that I just put in, and I changed the needle using the screwdriver, and here's my nice little thick stitch. So my first thing, and usually, again, I've been really bad at this lately. I'm going to test my tension. I have this extra down here. The batting ends right here. So I want to make sure I test my tension. This is a thicker thread. This is going to stitch different than the other threads. I'm probably going to have to change tension a little bit because of that, but we're going to see. I'm still going to bring up my thread like normal. I got to go back to my main menu, turn my laser light on. Some things. I'm using a thicker thread, so I'm going to use a bigger stitch length. I'm going to stitch it like an 8. I'm not going to use the tie-off feature when I use a thicker thread. I'm just going to do my own, take my own stitches because I want to make sure that it doesn't look horrible and have a lot of buildup. I am in cruise. I'm changing to precision, or sorry, into BSR2, where when I stop, the needle stops. Let's hit start and see how it looks. My top tension looks good. That didn't feel good there, but let me see. I'm stitching over so I can look under. All right, so it's pulling to the back a little bit. So I am going to increase my top tension, and I will show you how to do this. I don't know how to swap to this one. Oh, there you are. Uh, I'm learning how to do this. Let's see, thicker bobbin thread too. No, this has the same bobbin thread. It's still so fine. So it's pulling to the back just a little bit. You can't see it because it's way down there, but I'm gonna hit my tension button. And so on the Berninos, we have this this kind of icon. Can you? We'll get here so you can see better. So this is all digital tension. If you, and I learned this kind of trick from Anna Murphy, if you view this as this is the knot in your quilt, and so it ideally this is happening in the middle of our quilt somewhere, right? Um, if I can see the thread at the bottom, so if I can see the top thread on the bottom side, that means this knot needs to be brought up. The knot, the where the two of them link, right? The top and bobbin. So if I can see the top on the bottom, I need to bring this up. And I'm gonna go like we start at 4. I'm gonna go like a full number. Um, if I can see the bobbin thread up top, then I need to drop the knot. So this is a little visual aid for you. It's so much easier than having to like turn a wheel and say like, oh yeah, that's good. Um, yeah, there are some, I might go up to 525. And I'm gonna stitch again. So we're going back to here and I wanna stitch again. And I'm not gonna be making any points. So that looks good. It looks a little tight, but it feels good down there. Then I'm gonna stitch a little bit more. And we popped it. And that's what I thought was gonna happen. When I said it looked a little tight, like it pulled a little bit. And so I'm always going to test this before, regardless, because I'm doing a specialty thread. Um, you want to make sure the bobbin stayed. Um, you want to make sure that everything's looking good. So let's come over here. I'm going to trim this. And I want to see what those stitches look like on the underside. I'm moving you back and putting a needle down. I don't know if you can see this. I want to see under right here and how this loads. Like I can't really get there, but on the Pro frame, I can simply, I'm going to move this bar up. So then I can look under really easy. Let's see. That looked good. I might. And this is when, I mean, we're using a 12 weight thread up top and a 60 weight thread in the bobbin. So this is, at times like that, like you're going to have to make some adjustments. You know, yesterday I used what was that? We used a 50 weight and a 40 weight and we didn't change anything. So this is what, like when you start playing around and you get crazy, you might have to make some adjustments. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is what you practice and you learn so that you're not scared of those other threads. I love to use different threads. I haven't used the So Sassy on this machine yet. There we are. So I loosened up my bobbin tension. And I thought I might have to do that. Usually with the Bernina, I run the bobbin at bigger than two, so oh, Heather, I just read the rest of your question. I changed my thread to a different color. So here I was stitching with blue in the bobbin. This one I have white. So I loosened the tension in the bobbin up from 220 to 180 using the Toa gauge. That's this thing. I love this. It comes with the Bernina machines. Um, so we're gonna see. I reset my tension back down to 4, or back to 4, and I'm gonna stitch and see how everything goes at 4. That looks good. I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. And now we are drilled in with perfect tension. So I'm at 4.5. I might go up one more just to be safe. And because I'm drilled in, I'm here. Let's just start there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm using my 3-inch circle. I'll actually stitch up until I can't, and we'll just come down and work our way around. Let me put my side things on. So that's it. You change your threads, you test them, you find your tension settings, and then you start stitching, and you don't stress about it. I know it's easier to say than to do. Let's see. For virtue of the thread name, I'm going to need to buy some. Oh yes, So Sassy is great. Let's see how far I can go. I bet you I can get, I'm not gonna be able to get that one, but I will be able to get this one. So here's my 3, and what I'm gonna use, I have, this one's marked, but I'm gonna use my eyes and eyeball this. So I'm eyeballing the intersection, and then I'm gonna stitch over. So I can come down, stitch around, and when I get to here, I need to stitch that next one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch up on the line, just eyeball it, come back, put my ruler there. So we're gonna make these rounds. This one I'll just, this is where that one did not line up. We'll just make it look like it did. And this is where we stitched and then we overstitched on the way back. I'm gonna do this one, but I'm not gonna do that overstitching because it's gonna make this stitch look really, really thick. So I'm gonna stitch here to the end, and then I'll do a little bit of overstitching there to do my tie off, and then I might do one more needle up, needle down. And that's where I'm gonna end this because you'll see that it starts to look a little chunky and bulky. Um, and I don't really want the chunky and bulky look. And because I did that overstitching, I can stitch there and there. And if you're someone who's worried about this coming out, just put a little bit of, a little drop of the fray check, and that'll keep it from fraying. So that's what we just did. Pretend that isn't there. We'll move this. I like it. It's just enough. So then we're going to come here, and I'm going to work my way all the way around. Now, the thing with the Bernina machines is that foot goes up and down. And I can see how I can get the ruler way under that foot. So if you have a Bernina machine, this is very important. If you're using rulers, your ruler never comes near the foot until your foot is down. Either you bring your foot down physically before you bring up your bobbin and everything, or you can, like for me, I can come in here. Let's turn it this way so I can see some lines. I can put it here. I brought my foot down physically. This is where I want to start. So I can take my stitch, bring my bobbin up. I can see that's where I want to start. I'm going to drop my foot back down. And I can take those starting stitches, drop my needle, and now I can bring my ruler over. It's really important. If you drop your foot on a ruler, you're going to break your machine. So I'm helping you not have to go to the doctor. We're here and trim this. And then now I'm just going to work my way across this. Where's my other ruler? I'm losing things. And really, this doesn't have to look all perfect because I'm going to come in and do this anyway. There's going to be a binding over it. And using these thicker threads, like it sounds like something's wrong. It's just kind of, it's the thick thread running through everything. I'm going to see if I can move you guys at a different angle so you can see better. But still stay out of my view. Is that better? You can, you really see those lines in there, dang. They're very thick. I can see me doing that, needing a service of my machine. Yes, don't break your machine by bringing your ruler down on it. There we go. Or bringing your foot down on a ruler. And just like always, rulers are meant to be precise. They are not meant to be fast, especially when you're working with a specialty thread. I almost decided to do this with a metallic, but I really wanted the thick thread. I was going to use a So Fine 30, like a 30 weight thread, which would have gave a similar look, not as pronounced. And there used to be a So Fine 30 weight, and I have a cone of it. I actually think I have an orange. I have an orange and a pink maybe. And I was talking to Mickey, and she said, "Don't use that one. It's not, and they don't make it anymore." So you're just going to show something they can't, something to people that they can't get. And that made me laugh. I go, well, you kind of have a point. All right, so now I'm going to start working my way up this way. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to drop my foot, and I have it set to one of my finger buttons, so I don't have to touch the screen. Bring it over. And if I was like, oh my gosh, I can't try to hold that there. One moment, please. I do have my laser light on this. So let's see. I'm trying to get my thread back through the slit. I do have my laser light on. So if I put my ruler and come right here and hold it steady, I can get my foot. So that I can make a point because I've already drawn over all over this with my blue marker. And kneel down up. Did my tie off, line my ruler back up. And I can work my way up. Let's trim this. This is when I wish I was ambidextrous. But I am not an ambidextrous long arm quilter. It is very hard for me to drive with my left hand. I'm envious of those who can do it. And then I grab the handlebars with my left hand. Of course. And so I'm going to do this all the way around, but then also use the same thread in the middle on those circles that I did not do yesterday. That is very close to my finger. All right, so I'm going to advance this, and I am leaving the needle down in it. I'm not going too far. And it keeps me from having to do another tie off. And I guess you would say anti-advance. It came the other way. Do you find that using cheapo backing fabric creates tension problems? I don't use cheapo backing fabric. Um, it if you are here, I'm gonna switch it so you can see me. Um, so I I almost always use wide backs. They do have a little bit of a different weave. Um, but if I quilt with it, it probably came from a quilt shop or Connecting Threads. I love Connecting Threads, so I use a lot of their stuff. Um, but a lot of their fabric nowadays is printed at the same mills on the same uh, raw material that a lot of the other brands are. Um, so I don't use a lot of like I didn't really shop at Joann's. I didn't shop at any of those things. Um, I know people who like to stitch with like sheets and things. Again, it's a different weave. So my thought is, people who would use muslin. I had a customer who would use muslins for their backs. It was always really hard to get the tension right because, again, different weave. So my thought is, um, use something similar to what you're working with. I don't care what the back looks like. Like I might have a backing that doesn't match, but it's still like I care about the quality of it. So we spend a lot of time and money on our quilt tops. So you want to make sure that your backing and your thread, for that matter, is quality, and your batting. So that's my little thing. I will use a wide back. It is a little bit different, but not a ton. Not something that I can really see. I think even if it is that, usually tension wise, you can drill your tension in, regardless of what you're using, and get it to look like balanced. Um, but some fabrics are better than others. So some battings are better than others. So like if you have a thin spot in your batting, your tension's going to look off all of a sudden. If you're stitching on something with a lot of seams, or so you have a bunch of piecing here, so there's a lot of seams and everything. Do I have that? I'm trying to think if these cats. I finished my cats. Well, kind of. I finished part of my cats. But like stitching here in the forehead might look different than stitching over here where all these seams line up, because essentially right here I have 8 layers. 5 layers, sorry. So when this needle hits this seam right here, there's 5 layers of fabric that it's going through. When it's here, it's just one. So all those little things can change the tension just slight enough that you might be able to see it. Um, but that's why I usually match my top thread and my bottom thread. Like yesterday, I was stitching with this on the top and this on the bottom. And like they're almost the exact same color. I'm like, which way are they gonna go? They're almost the exact same color. They're just off a little bit. This is so large. There you go. So if it did get off, you're probably not going to see it. All right, I'm gonna pop this back over. Let it zoom in. So I'm just going to continue my way up. What I tend to do, and is my problem, is I get comfortable, and then I start stitching too fast. And then I'll have a thread break. Is it the end of the world? No. But I don't really want a thread break. And I don't know why I just did that. I don't even really want to stop in the middle of these if I can. Like, and the reason for that is I'm stitching at an 8 stitches per inch. So I have some big stitches going on. So if I can do all of this in one fell swoop, it's going to make the stitching look better because everything's going to be nice and regulated. So all the stitches are going to be exactly the same. Whereas where I stopped down a little bit, there's one place where the stitches aren't big. And because it's big thread, you might somebody might be able to look at that and say, oh, they paused here, they moved their hands. Now, if somebody told me that, I wouldn't be their friend anymore. So hopefully they are not a friend, because I would drop them. Don't critique me. I'm not in a show. And so this side is done. I'm loving how it looks. Now I'm going to be stitching this way, or I'm going to go this way. So now I'm going to say which way is going to be nicer for me. I just naturally, I like to stitch from left to right. I might actually, no, we'll start at the top. Let's finish this side really quick. Drop my foot so I can see where I'm going in. I had only lined up 2 of the lines. Let's see, and there we go, and that one I don't have to worry about tying off. It's going to get cut off anyway. So now this side is done. This better take good pictures. That's all I can say. Um, and one more. Click on mark. The marking is a little bit easier, but you have to have a marking tool that's tall enough for that ruler foot. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Don't hit the wrong button. And if you do, make sure you turn your machine off. Oh, I hit the wrong button and now I got a thread jam. So that will happen, and that's okay. We all make mistakes. Let's go to the side. So I'm gonna take my sides off. Make a lot of noise. So I hit the wrong button and I didn't have the top thread held. So now we're gonna come in and do some surgery. And you'll see that I'm looped in there. This is where that front handlebar is nice. And I have bobbin thread, so I'm gonna trim that bobbin thread. And I'm always gonna take the bobbin out and put it back in. And there we go. We'll turn this around to make sure everything looks good and I don't see any threads. And then I'm gonna do my knot button because that will do a full loop and reset my needle where it needs to be. And that was all jammed up in there. And so you have to make sure you hit the right button. is I have why I have this, I don't know, but I have my button set opposite of what the HQ was, which really doesn't make any sense, but ever so often I hit the wrong button. And with thin threads, it's okay. With thicker threads, you're probably going to have an issue. Oh, I forgot to put my bobbin in. That would have been good too. Let's see. Go. All right. Let's try this again. At least I have a hole where it made that stitch. So I'm going to do a needle down, needle up. There's my bobbin. Needle down, needle up. Needle down, needle up. Needle down. And now I'm going to be able to stitch over all of that as I go. Oh, yes, the feet on these are so often. Yes, you would think they make a needle threader by now. This one has a needle threader on it, but with the thick thread, it doesn't always work great because the thread is too thick um, to really pull through. All right, so I'm good, and I can hit start and stitch. Do my trim, because this right here is my needle threader. And if I was using anything else, I would have used line it up. Changing the feet on these is one of my favorite things because it's so easy. And these I'm going to have to stop. So I think I'm going to try to stop because I have to shift hands like that. I think what I'm going to try to do is stop where the threads overlap because then I can hide that stop. Not that I really care, but I can hide that stop in an intersection. So if I stitch to here, oh, I don't know why I moved my ruler. That was stupid. And then I finish. Oh, that was slick 50 right there. You can't even tell. Whereas here I can see just a little bit. Again, who cares? But it's a teaching moment. Oh, I did it again. See, I'm so used to moving the ruler. Mm-hmm. And these are the like this set is full circle rulers, which is nice. I find the full circles are easier to use than the half circles. And I'll go back and use the half circles um, from the multi-tool, even though I have a number 4, which is a 4-inch circle. Um, I want to stitch as much as I can as the pattern tells me. So now, oh, can I get to this? Yes. So now all of my exterior is done. I'm not going to worry about putting anything here. I was thinking about it, but I just decided, nah. Um, and so my last piece is to do the circles here. So, like I said, I have, oh, I think I put it back. This is a 4-inch circle on this multi-tool. Let me tilt you down a little bit. Um, so this is a 4-inch circle on the multi-tool, and this is the 4-inch circle out of the circle set. So they are the same size. This would be easier to use, but directions are for the multi-tool, so why not use that? I didn't know it was an option. So I'm going to pick out my center. And do some tie-offs. Line up my multi-tool. That's not going to work. I was looking at it. I'm like, wait, I'm going to end up over here. Let's use the right lines. There we go. And if I can, sometimes I will put that extra thread under the ruler because then that holds that extra thread out of the way. And I have to stop in this, so we will. That's fine. Rotate the ruler the right way again. I really love this So Sassy thread. I think it just stitches out so nice. We use it, I was using it in some like couching on my domestic machine. I used it for decorative stitches on the serger. It's just an all around great thread. And I think it's like $5 or $4 this spool. Don't quote me. Don't quote me. That's a Mickey question. Wrong lines. And the reason I'm saying wrong lines, because I can do a half circle here, but if I try to do a half circle here, it does it slow the ruler slopes out. So this really is the only place where I get a full half circle. So I have to go with that one. And sometimes I just am a contortionist. And when I do these, you'll notice that I went here, and then I went here, and then I went down. Like I always try to continue the same line. So I can go here and come around, but because I'm already naturally coming down, I'll just kind of snake around and continue that same direction. Why do I do that? I don't know. But I do think about those things. And I almost tried to drive left-handed. And now my circles are done. Let me use my needle up and down. And I'm moving some stuff around. This is just to play around. I was trying out a new pattern and ruler from one of the other educators I work with. All right, let me pull these off. Oh, you're gonna go dizzy. Hold on. I forgot that that's the only camera you can see. So this is the quilt that I've been doing. Oh, I can move the machine now. This is the quilt that I did. This is the Amanda Murphy Whole Cloth Quilting Ideas Block 5. So she has five of them. They all feature a specific ruler, and so this one features this ruler, which is the Amanda Murphy multi tool. This is what it looks like stitched normal. So I did this one yesterday. This is cotton or cherry wood hand dyed fabric with so fine is my stitching thread on this one. 2 layers of batting, just 2 layers of 80/20 because I had a scrap piece that I folded and stuck in. So that's this one, and the instructions teach you how to draw all the lines and everything and where to use the ruler for what and kind of does it steps. This one is on a layer of wool batting, so this is Quilter's Dream wool. That's the only difference. So you can see that even here, like you can just see the puffiness compared to this. Drab, puffy. But I wanted to do something extra, so I went in with that So Sassy thread. I think this looks good. I love this. Or I guess you're looking over here. I love the look of that. I like how what the orange does, and it just adds a little bit. I could put an orange binding on this to match that, to bring the orange in. Yeah, I just really like this. So basically, this outer seam is where, yes, there will be a binding. It'll probably be a facing, where the facing will get sewn on. And then I will fold it all to the back so that you only see this part. Yeah. I'm going to do this, and I'm logging off of anything else I need to show you with the phone before I unconnect. I don't think so. I love it. I like how they turned out. I'm gonna Hi. I was muted. You should do a double binding with 2 different colors. Oh, I like that. An orange flange. That would look good. But then I have to do a binding. I don't even like binding. I'm such a whiner. So and I've been talking about so tights, whatever. I'm moving you back in my long arm thing. Let me turn the lights on. And so now I'm ready to undo. Just so like I tell people this all the time, but I do load with sew tights. These are pinned, so I pinned to the back leader, and then I use sew tights in the front. So like if you look right here, you'll see a sew tight here. I have this so the leader doesn't go all like flippity jippity on me. I can put the sew tight here, and when the bar is upside down, the leaders don't flippity flop. That drives me nuts. This one's a little flippity jippity because I was moving it back and forth. Let's see. So I'm going to take my side pins off. And then when I'm ready to unload this, I have my magnets. And so usually my top's up here, but because I didn't stitch on the whole thing, And now my machine's unloaded. Oh, I forgot to point you back there, but now my machine's unloaded. Except for the back part. That'll just pull towards me and undo my pins. And then decide what's getting loaded up on the rack next. Any questions? I knew I was going to be stitching. I knew I was going to be messing around with tension at the beginning of the video, and I really wanted you to see, like, you're allowed to change stuff. And if things don't work, you know, I find that a lot of people run their bobbin tension pretty tight, which is fine if you don't change threads. But if you run that tension so tight that your top tension has to pull so hard to keep up, and you have a thinner thread or a finicky thread, that thread's just going to snap. So you have to loosen up the top tension to get your bottom tension to work right. Or loosen up sorry, I said that wrong. You have to loosen up your bobbin. You have to loosen up your bobbin to get your top tension not to snap. So I was originally at 220, which is what I run all my bobbins with the Bernina. But because I was having a little bit of issues with the top, I loosened the bobbin and then it let the top do everything. Great. So, all right, I'm going to go. I have to go figure out what I'm going to load next. I'm going to say sayonara to you so I can get the next project up and running. I told myself I'm getting another quilt quilted today, but the other one's going to be schematic, so I should probably turn that on. We'll see you in the next one. As always, if you have any questions or need anything, you can always send me a message. Happy to help. Lena, did you see Mickey did you go to the Madison show? Since you're here, I figured I'd ask. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. On a random day. I will show you. There's a few places. So there's a few places where I had some bobbins pick out, but it was all at like tie-offs or stops and starts. And I need to play around with it. I think because I use there's a knot function where it brings the foot up, and I need to not use that and just do my tie-offs with needle up, needle downs. Because everywhere else, like, that's good tension. You can tell where I stitched with the orange too, because I used white threads on the back instead of blue. Oh, I like this. You know, Ben will be the judge because he will let me know if he doesn't like something. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful day. At the end of the day, it's just quilting. Get out there, go have some fun. I'm going to do some edge to edge and finish my cats. Oh, I'm going to go buy a new design for my quilt. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.